you guys, welcome back to See Mindy Mom. If you are new here, I'm so glad that you found me. Welcome to the Mom Van. I am sitting outside of Walmart because I'm about to go in and do a little shopping for a quick freezer food prep video for you guys, so stay tuned. All right, you guys, if you can hear the air conditioning, I'm sorry. I'm gonna make this intro short and sweet because it is like 11,000 degrees outside right now. We're to the heat of the summer, the end of the summer when the heat is just extreme. My makeup routine is basically sunscreen and mascara now because almost everything else just melts right off my face. So I thought it would be fun and maybe refreshing to talk about freezers today. So I'm about to head into Walmart. I'm going to try to stay on a budget of about $50 to fill my freezer. Actually, we're not gonna be filling my freezer. We're going to be filling my little sister's freezer because she just had a baby and I'm getting ready to go and see her with some gifts, and I want to be able to take her some food as well. This might be just a little bit different from other freezer meal prep, food prep videos that I've seen or that I've done on my channel because I am going to prep a few meals, but I also have some other things in mind, like some snacks and some sides and maybe even just some items to throw in the freezer that can come in handy later. But I'm going to try to stick with that $50 budget, and these are all going to be pretty easy and quick because I only have a couple of hours to get all of this done today. Okay, here is my haul from Walmart. I spent about $51 and some change. And so after tax, it was about $56 or so. So I think that is not too shabby. I started out by picking up these two rotisserie chickens. This is gonna help me cut a corner. My neighborhood market often marks these down after a day or so. So they're in the refrigerated section. They're perfectly fine. I'm gonna debone those. I'm gonna take the bones out and use the meat to create a couple of different meals. I also got a family size of the Great Value Italian style meatballs. I'm gonna make 2 meals with this. Some frozen cheese tortellini, a package of 8-count large burrito sized flour tortillas, 1 package of tater tots, some daisy sour cream. I just needed 1 cup of sour cream for a recipe, and my Walmart was completely out of the store brand. 1 package of butter, because I'm gonna use that in a couple of different things. A 1-pound package of sharp cheddar, and then just a 12-count of these provolone slices. Canned goods back here, I have 2 big cans of crushed tomatoes, a can of refried beans, 1 of the big jars of Alfredo sauce, not the little ones, 1 can of green chili enchilada sauce, 1 small can of evaporated milk, and this little 5-ounce can was actually more than the 12-ounce can in the Great Value brand, but I only needed 5 ounces, so I went ahead and got this. 1 can of cream of mushroom soup, 1 15-ounce can of beef broth, 1 box of all-purpose baking mix. This is the Walmart version or Walmart brand of the Bisquick, 1 package of brown gravy mix, 1 pound of thin spaghetti, and 1 pound of medium egg noodles. And then from the discount bakery rack, I found a great deal on this apple pie. This is a big apple pie. This is like bigger than the normal size, and it was only $2.85. I can't make one for cheaper than that. So that's gonna go in the freezer. I'll take that to my sister, and yes, I will do the kind thing and pick her up some vanilla ice cream on my way to her house so that she can have that with vanilla ice cream when she's ready. And then I also have 1 package of rolls here that I found on the discount bakery rack for $1.42. And then 1 package of Betty Crocker chocolate chip cookie mix, and 1 package of Reese's Pieces, and 1 package of M&Ms, and you'll see what I'm going to do with those here in a bit. But this is what a little more than $50, including tax, got me from my Walmart, and I'm going to make lots of things to stock my sister's freezer with these items. The first 2 meals that I prepped, super easy, super quick. They were 2 crock pot meals, and they're each going to utilize half of this bag of meatballs. So I just opened that up and I divided that between 2 different Ziploc baggies. And I am also going to open all of my canned ingredients at the same time so that they are ready to go in. That is a really big time saver for me. So I went ahead and opened up all the cans. And the first recipe that I am prepping is a Swedish meatballs, and it is from Together as a Family, I believe, and I will leave it linked in the description box below. But here are the ingredients, and basically I'm just going to combine all of the wet ingredients, so the can of cream of chicken, the can of broth, the can of evaporated milk, plus 1 can of water, and then 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. And I'm going to whisk that together and toss it into the baggie, pour it into the baggie with the meatballs. Of course, I realized after I did this that I had forgotten to add the brown gravy mix, but no big deal. I just opened the baggie back up with the meatballs and the sauce in it. I sprinkled the brown gravy mix in and then just kind of gave it a little bit of a toss. So all we'll have to do when we're ready to eat this, or when my sister's ready to make this, is put it into the crock pot on low for a few hours, and then you cook the egg noodles separately and you will have Swedish meatballs with egg noodles. The next recipes are just a really easy crock pot meatball marinara, and it is inspired by my friend Carrie and her sister Christina and their website Lazy Day Cooking Club. This is a membership, a subscription service where they drop recipes into their member dashboards every single month for the crock pot, but they are also designed to be prepped ahead of time for the freezer. So all of the recipes come with instructions for what to prep for the freezer and also how to cook it on cooking day. They even have a shopping list thing that you can use to make your shopping list for the ingredients that you need for the recipe. So I will leave them linked in the description box below if you're interested in checking them out. And if you use the code Mindy50, you can get 50% off your first month with them. So for the crock pot meatball marinara, I'm just putting all the ingredients in here. I've got some diced onion and garlic. I've got some salt and pepper to taste, 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning, and then I just have 2 big cans, 2 28-ounce cans of crushed tomatoes. So again, just throw that into the crock pot for a few hours and make up some spaghetti, and she'll have spaghetti and meatballs. So I'm actually going to use the chickens to make a couple of different recipes, and I probably could have gotten by with just 1 chicken, but that's okay. So first I'm just taking the chicken off the bone and shredding it up in a bowl. And don't worry, I saved the bones. I froze the bones so that I could make broth later on in the winter whenever I'm starting to make soup. So I just stuck all the bones in the freezer, but I have some chicken here that I'm going to use to make a couple of different things. The first thing that I'm making is just a really easy cheesy chicken tortellini casserole. These are the ingredients here, plus just about 1 cup of water, which I'm going to put in the jar and shake up after I pour it in. But super easy, just toss this into a pan, and then all she will have to do is defrost it and reheat it through whenever she's ready to eat it. And with the rest of the chicken that I pulled from the rotisserie chickens, I am just going to make some really easy chicken burritos with the ingredients that you see here. I just put the refried beans into the bowl with the chicken, and I popped it in the microwave for about 30 seconds or so, just because I knew it would be easier to stir together all of the ingredients if the beans were a little bit warm. And so then I just added my enchilada sauce and a little pepper and stirred that together to make the filling, and then I just assembled my burritos. Super easy. So I ended up with 8 chicken burritos, and y'all, I just put them back in the flour tortilla bag because this is Oklahoma. We aren't fancy, we reuse things. So this will go in the freezer and it'll make for really easy snacks or lunches. I tried 7-Up biscuits for the first time last winter, and I have made them several times since because they are so fantastic. There's only 4 ingredients, 4 cups of Bisquick, 1 8-ounce container or 1 cup of sour cream, 1 8-ounce can or 1 cup of 7-Up, and then 1 stick of butter, which you melt in the pan and place the biscuits in the melted butter when you bake them. Biscuits can be just a little bit fickle though, kind of like bread, and I found that my dough was just a little bit too wet, and so I added a little bit more Bisquick. But you want to be careful not to over mix your biscuit dough either. Southerners, I know you know what I'm talking about. Give me a shout out in the comments and let me know. Don't over mix your biscuits, right? So I did these drop biscuit style, and I just used my cookie scoop to drop them in mounds into the buttered dish that I'm cooking them in. I baked them at 425. Mine took about 13 or 14 minutes. I just kept checking them about every 5 minutes, and they turned out fantastic as usual. I had a little leftover pulled pork from our dinners this week that I was ready to freeze, so I actually intended to put the tater tots in the rolls with that and the cheese slices, so this would make a really easy dinner that they could just pull out of the freezer and have some pulled pork sandwiches and some tater tots. And I just went ahead and put all of the ingredients for that together in a 2-gallon Ziploc bag so it could all stay together in the freezer. The last thing that I mixed up was some cookie dough for monster cookies. I used 1 stick of butter, slightly melted, half a cup of peanut butter, or 4 ounces, which I used my scale to measure out, 2 eggs, and I went ahead and mixed that all together. You wanna make sure you don't get your butter too hot because you don't want your eggs to cook in the butter. And then I added 1 cup of oats and 1 package, I think they're about 17 ounces of chocolate chip cookie mix, and a little bit of M&Ms and Reese's Pieces. And I just stirred that all together and I dropped those in little balls into a container that I could go ahead and put in the freezer. So I'm freezing this cookie dough raw, and they can take the cookie dough pieces out as they wish to bake them, and then they would just bake as many as they want at a time. So all in all, I ended up with 4 complete meals, 2 for the crock pot and 2 that just need to be reheated, as well as 8 chicken burritos and 15 7-Up biscuits, about 3 dozen cookies that are ready to be baked, and 1 apple pie that is just ready to go in the freezer. All in all, this took me less than 2 hours, but it probably would have taken me less than 90 minutes had I not been filming. I mean, it probably would have been just over an hour had I not been starting and stopping to kind of corral the kids different places as well. So I'm pretty pleased with what I was able to come up with, and all of this only cost me about $50, and I really didn't have to use very much for my kitchen, just a few things that I had around. So I hope that gives you guys some ideas. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be sure to check in with another video very soon. Bye.